Hey friend, people ask me how to build the UI like App Store or Instagram or Facebook that you see some icons that you can scroll left or right, or you have multiple grid of things inside very complex UI already. So it seems like we can use a table view, but then within a table view you have multiple stuff. You can scroll left or right, or you have multiple things structured like that. Is that a table view? Is that a collection view? Is that a page view controller or container view controller? What is that? Right? So that is what we will talk about in this training. In this training, I would love to share with you how to use a collection view, UI collection view, inside a UITableView cell. That's the secret. Actually, you put a collection view inside a UITableView cell. Here is how the app will look like after this training. I use the prototype of one of the courses that I teach at Socialize Your App. This is the Nike e-commerce store prototype that we have at Socialize Your App. And when you click into the detail screen, when you scroll up, you will see there's a grid of photos, there's a grid of products that we suggest to the users of that app. And you see that the UI is already, we use a table view. And then below that, the product suggestions, we use a grid of photos. That is the secret. So let's get into the demo. First, download your starter project, download all the resources and complete projects and everything that prepare for you with the link right below this page. So there will be like the description of the page, and you can download it there and then create a free account with us so I can send you that resources and all the projects in this course for you. And I have some awesome training for you at the end too, just as a thank you for you to checking out my videos on the channel. So I would love to give you an extra video training series I think that you really love. That is, I have a free training series called How to Build Social Network Apps. And in there, I teach you how to build Instagram, how to build Facebook newsfeed, how to build Nike e-commerce store. And I would love you to have that. So all you have to do is click the link on this page and then enter your name and email there so I can send you that course and all the resources for this training. So let's get ahead, let's burst out your code and let's create this app. Let's figure out what is inside our starter project. So when you open up the starter project and run it for the first time, we have a simple table view like this. And when we click into one of each cell, we have the detail of that product. And then when we scroll down like this, there's nothing. But what we want to achieve in this training is that we want to have this kind of like a grid of images that the user can click on or can browse some more, right? So when you see this feature, it's very much like when you go into apple.com or amazon.com and then you buy something and then they will suggest you that, hey, I saw that you like this shoe. Maybe you like the other products like these too. So that is product suggestion feature in mostly e-commerce app or any kind of app that sells stuff, right? So how can we do this? This is the complete project that we will get done after this training. You can download that along with the starter project with the link right down below. So let's head over here. And when I open up the starter project, you see that in the main storyboard, we have a simple tab bar controller. And then the first tab is that tab that we have it over there, the tail view. And then this one is another tail view. Now, below here, we have the you might also like cell. And that is exactly where we are going to implement that feature. Okay, so how can we implement that guy? This guy right here. Yeah, we have like 2 or 3 ways that are very simple we can implement this thing. Number one, the simplest way that we can do this is we can just have 4 images, put it right here, then connect those 4 images into a custom class of this cell, and then have those outlets and then assign the outlets the images for each of the outlets, right? But what happened is you are limited to those 4 images, and you cannot extend other features. Like, what happened if you don't want to display one image? What happened if you want to have some animation? What happened if you want to have some buttons into the images, or you want to have different layouts, right? Or you want to have things like you want to mark this product to be discounted or on sale, or it is out of stock. So those kind of things is very hard to do if you have static images. So what I am proposing in this training is we are going to use a UI collection view inside a UITableView cell like this. Now, it is a very popular and common way in iOS that you implement that. One example is the News app. Right, so this is the News app built in right into iOS, and you see that this can be a table view or a collection view. And then inside each of the cell, you see that this can be a table view cell or a collection view cell. And then inside that cell, this is another cell, right? Another prototype cell. And then inside that cell, we have another collection view. You see that? This is collection view right there, right? Okay. And then if I open up the For You right here, don't read the news, but you have a bunch of things, and this is a table view cell. And then over here you have a collection view, and then inside here, let's see, we have table view, and then here we have collection view right here, right? So these 2 grids of things, that is collection view, and this thing for sure, that is collection view or UI page view controller. Okay, so that is what we are going to implement in this training. We'll put a collection view inside this guy. So let's go ahead. If you haven't downloaded the starter project, do that now. So I'm going to go to main storyboard, and I will drag out a collection view inside this. So let's search for a UI collection view like this, right? Collection view. Drag that thing to the screen, and I'm going to put this thing as what? Let's see, 24 point. Okay, 24 point. And by the way, if you don't know, the way that I have this ruler tool is I hold the Option key and hover to the neighbor element inside the scene. Cool? Inside the view actually, and then I'm going to move this thing to the edge like this. Okay, using the blue guidelines again, like that. So let's open up the the size inspector, and then we make sure that we select the collection view cells, and then how about we make that height? Let's use auto layout immediately. So I'm going to select this collection view, and then do auto layout. Select the P menu, 24 to the top. That's good. 0 left, 0 right, and let's put 0 to the bottom, and add the 4 constraint. Cool. All right. Now notice that this thing is inside our content view of this suggestion views cell, which is a UITableView cell. Cool. And then let's drag this thing out into something like let's put that. I'm going to select the UI collection view, and then let's put this 100 by 100 point. Okay. You don't have to worry about what is the size right now, because we will design that. We will change the size of each of the cell in here in code. So let's make that 200 by 200 so that we have more space to work on. Cool. All right. And then let's have, how about the mean spacing for this each of cell, just 2, and for lines is 2, like this. Okay. Don't worry, we will change that in our code. That's pretty much it. Let's drag out a UI image into this cell, because you notice that we have only 1 image inside this. So let's have UI image view, drag this thing to the screen like this, and then I'm going to auto layout this guy, 0 to top, left and right and bottom, add the 4 constraint so that we constrain this image to the edges of this cell. And then we change this thing into another image like F1, yeah? And then we use scale aspect fill, or you can aspect fit. That's okay, because all of these images, we use a square image. All right, So that pretty much how you design the UI for this cell. The next step is we need to create two custom classes for these cells. Now you may ask, hold on, there's only one cell that we are customizing here, which is this UICollectionView cell. What's the second one? The second one, don't forget, is that we have this TableView cell, right? So if you notice that this is the feed, okay, the feed is right here. We don't have to worry about that. But this thing right here is the detail. So I have the detail screen over here. So the detail, and then you see that there's a shoe detail tail view controller. Let me zoom that up for you so you can see better. The shoe detail tail view controller. Maybe I should use this. Okay. So that shoe detail tail view controller is exactly this screen. It is the controller for this view right here. Cool. And then we'll create a view, a UITableView cell for this cell, for the TableView cell, and then a UICollectionView cell for this CollectionView cell. Cool. So let's right click into the views group, and then let's have a new file, and let's use a CocoaTouch class, and I'm going to use, it is a subclass of UITableView cell. Yeah. And then let's call this guy suggestion TableView cell, and click next, put that right there, create. Cool. And then we will delete all of these things. We don't need that. And here, there's only one single outlet that we have to worry about. So let's click into main storyboard, hold the option key, and then click into the suggestion TableView cell that we just create, so that we have it on the right hand side. Okay, suggestion TableView cell. Here we go. And then I'm going to change the the custom class of this guy. So custom class of this cell to be a suggestion TableView cell. Okay, I think I already did that. Suggestion TableView cell like this. Cool. And then I'm going to select the suggestion TableView cell, and then hold the control key, hold control, and then drag from the collection view over here to our suggestion TableView cell. And then we make an outlet. So here, let's call this thing CollectionView. We don't have to have any fancy name. It's only the only collection view inside our suggestion TableView cell. So we'll leave it there. Cool. All right. Another class is our new file, CocoaTouch class, and this is a custom class of UICollectionView cell. And let's name this guy suggestion CollectionView cell. Cool. Suggestion CollectionView cell. Next. You can name anything you like, but it's just we are keeping a consistency here. Cool. All right. Now this thing, it has only the image and pretty much it. So I'm going to have an UI IB outlet with var, and that is a UI image view. Let's call that image view of type UI image view like this. And what is our public API for this class? Yeah, we practically we only need the image for this guy. Now you can argue that we need like the product or something like that, but here, because it is a demo, so let's keep it simple. I'm going to have only one image, which is of type UI image like that. And whenever this guy get set like this, this thing is called a property observer in Swift. So when this image gets set by maybe the collection view controller of this guy, or anyone that is implementing the collection view's data source method. Okay, so whenever this guy gets this set, we are going to call self.image view, the image, which is this guy. The self is this class equals to our image. And I will immediately count self.needs layout, set needs layout, so that it will lay out all of the elements, just in case that maybe we rotate the device, those kind of things. Cool. All right. So now let's open up the main storyboard, and then I'm going to select this cell right here, the collection view cell, change the class into of typed suggestion collection view cell. Open up the connection editor, inspector actually, and then connect from the image view to this guy. And everything is all set. Here we go. So we have two cells Number one is our suggestion table view cell, which is this whole thing. Number two is our suggestion collection view cell, which is this guy, right? So our job again, I want to remind you that we want to implement this guy. Now, if you are familiar with UI collection view or UI table view, you know that there is like 3 steps to implement any kind of table view or collection view. Number one, you design the cell. Number two, you have a custom class for this cell. Number three, you implement the UI table view or UI collection view data source so that you have the data, the images displayed on each of the cell, right? So inside that data source, you have like the number of sections in the collection view, the number of items inside the section, and then how does each cell looks like. Remember that inside the data source. So now our question is, where should we implement the UI data source of this collection view? Because remember that this collection view is simply an IB outlet for this suggestion table view cell. And then this collection view has each of the cell is this suggestion collection view cell, right? So where should we implement the collection view data source? Now, one simple way that you can do this, okay? Hear me out. One simple way that we can do this is we are going to implement the collection view data source immediately inside this collection view. Inside this suggestion table view cell. So for example, whenever this guy gets this set, something like this, and then you're going to call collection view dot data source to be our self, which is this suggestion table view cell class, right? So we will call, hey, this self, this class, this instance of the suggestion table view cell class, I want you to be the data source object of this collection view. And then now our job is that we have to extend this suggestion table view cell, and we'll implement the UI collection view data source like this, right? And then there will be methods like number of sections in the collection view, and then another methods like number of items in the section. Okay, so there's another method is like, this is pretty standard in a collection view, right? So another method is collection view cell for row cell for item at index path. Right? So these are the methods that we are going to implement for this UI collection view data source. But hold on before we do anything further. We know that we have to implement this UI collection view data source. But the problem is, I hope that you already figured it out. What's the problem here? There's a huge problem that is going to kill the app. Not like programmatically, not like compile wise or any kind of like technology wise, but in terms of design, in terms of programming paradigm. What's the problem? I just have a hint for you. Programming paradigm. What is the hint over here? What is the paradigm? What is the discipline or the structure that we build our iOS apps or web app or Android app or any kinds of apps nowadays? Yeah, MVC, Model View Controller. But notice, what is who is going to implement, who has to implement our collection view data source? Our controller. Only the controller has something to do with talking to the view and then talking to the model at the same time, putting the data from the model into the views, which is the collection view. This is the job of a controller. But look what it is we are putting it inside. A cell, a table view cell, which is a view. Now the problem is showing up. We are doing the work of a controller inside a view, which is violating MVC, which is we cannot do this because if it's okay, absolutely, if you do it like this, most people do it like this. when I do the research for this training, most people do it like this. There's a few exceptions that I saw and I learned from that we do it another way. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. But this is a bad way, right? This is a bad way because it's violating MVC. Now, it's okay if you're an independent developer or if you are like a solo entrepreneur or you work by yourself. But if you work with a team of people, if you're developing a code base so that your startup or your company will grow into this app, you will scale up this app that many developers are going to debug this code or use this code, then it's very hard for them to follow up with this thing because pretty much they are going to use MVC. Everyone is going to use MVC. But if you're violating MVC, there could be huge problem later in the future, right? So we should do it in a proper way. So I'm not going to do it this way. The way that we are going to do this is, let's look back at our main storyboard, okay? Let's look back in our storyboard. We have this collection view is inside a table view because we have a reference to the collection view inside the table view cell. And then this cell can be accessed. This cell is kind of like a part of this table view, right? And the table view's controller is this controller right here, right? The controller here controls this table view. Now MVC, it all means is that the controller will control some view, will access to some view, configure some views, talking to the model, right? Talking to the model, this controller talking to the model, and then put the data into these views, right? So why don't we make this shoe data table view controller, which is the controller for this guy, also be the controller for this collection view cell. I'm sorry, UI collection view. So here is how you do it. Go into the shoe detail table view controller, this guy right here. Again, this thing is the controller for this whole thing, okay? All right, so this shoe data table view cell. And then step number one, I'm going to have a, inside your struct storyboard here, let's uncomment this line here. We have the suggestion cell, okay? Copy here. And then goes back into your storyboard, main storyboard, and then click into the table view cell, and then goes into the what is that? This guy over here, and then the identifier, change that into the suggestion cell, like that. Okay. The next thing, the next one, we change this suggestion collection view cell into something like how about we'll change that later. Okay, so go back into your shoe detail table view controller, like that. So step number one is done. We have that identifier for the table view cell. Okay, next thing, let's implement this shoe detail table view controller. Below that, you'll see an extension. All it means is that I'm putting the UITableView data source into an extension so that we have different separation of code. Okay, here it is return 3, number of rows in a section. I return 3 at the moment because we have the first row is this guy. Okay, this Jordan 6 retro. This is the first cell. The second cell is this button. The third cell is this product detail cell. This is the second, this is the first, this is the second, and this is the third. Now we want to have another cell. This you might also like cell. So instead of the return 3, I'm going to return 4. Cool. Next thing, let's implement our cell for row at index path. So here we have an else if here. Let's have another else. Okay, else meaning that this is the index path.row is something like equals to 3, but we don't want to have like equal to 3 because we pretty much need you know what, let's have that because we'll return this anyway. So else if index path.row equals to 3, then let's dequeue that suggestion table view cell. So let cell equals table view dot dequeue reusable cell with identifier for index path. Let's make some room here. Okay, and then the identifier here is storyboard dot suggestion cell for the index path like this, and then we cast it as a suggestion table view cell. You have to cast it like this, otherwise it will not know that it is a suggestion table view cell. And then we'll return the cell. We don't have to set anything here because we don't have the data source right over here, right? For this cell. Now, here is just spend 1 minute typing in, and then we'll continue. Cool? Okay, here is the fun part. The fun part is how can we set the data source and the delegate and those stuff for this collection view cell inside this table view cell. We will not, if we set it in here, it will not work because we have to set it inside a method of the UITableView delegate called TableView will display cell for row and index path. So here we go. TableView will display cell for row at index path like that. Okay, and because we override, so let's have override over here. Will display cell for row index path. And then here I'm going to check if the index path dot row equals to 3. If this index path dot row equals to 3, which is pretty much this thing, right? This thing right here. Then I'm going to have if let cell equals to cell as a suggestion table view cell. Because we know that if it is the cell is the index path dot row of this cell right here is 3, then it is a suggestion table view cell. And then let's set the cell.collectionView because the collection view here is an outlet of the cell, right? Dot data source is equals to ourself, which is this self right here is our shoe detail table view controller, which is you can put in like the controller of your table view or your collection view. Cool? All right. Next time is we are going to immediately we call cell.collectionView.reload data like that. Okay, so that we have the reload data. Next, it yelled at us right now is that we didn't implement the collection view data source. So let's implement that. Let's have an extension for the shoe. What is that? Detail table view controller. We'll conform to UI collection view data source like that. Okay. And oh, hold on. I think we have this thing over here, right? So let's cut this guy over here. Cut that. Delete this thing. Inside our suggestion table view cell. So inside your suggestion table view cell right now, you should only have these 3 lines of code. And then go back into your thing over here. Copy paste over there. Cool. Paste it. All right. Now the number of sections. We just return 1, or you can actually don't have to implement this because it's default to be 1. And then the number of items in the section. How can we have this? Now, I know that I only want to return, have 4 items, so I will put it here. If you want it, you can do any kind of data source in here. I want to just return 4 in this demo, so let's put it there. Cool? The next thing, let's dequeue the cell to be collectionView.dequeue cell, reusable cell with identifier for our cell for row index path. So identifier here is, let's use our, what is that? Storyboard. Let's use storyboard dot suggestion cell for the index path of index path, and we cast it as our suggestion collection view cell. Okay. Now, this suggestion cell identifier is this guy over here, the suggestion cell. So let's copy this guy, go back into our main storyboard, select into the collection view cell, and then go over here, change the identifier into suggestion cell. Now it's okay if you have the same identifier for this table view cell and this collection view cell. Pretty much it doesn't know about that because one is table view controller, another is collection view controller. Okay? Alright. Okay, now let's go back into your cell for row index path. Now we need some data. Now here is your to-do right here. Your to-do right here is that you get your data source, you get your data model, and then you put in the data for images, for buttons, for text, labels, those kind of things. So here I'm going to just have the shoes to be our shoe.fetch shoes inside our dummy data, okay, our prototype data here. And then we're going to call cell.image to be our shoe subscript index path.item dot images dot first. Images is optional training, by the way, because it is an optional array, an optional array of images, okay? And then I'm going to return the cell. Okay, don't worry about this line. It all means that you put in your data right here. I hope that you already know about that in your collection view. Cool. Okay, now let's run the app and see how it looks like. Let's run it for the first time and see how it looks like after all of these coding. Okay, so clicking to one cell and scroll down. Nothing happened. Why is that? Well, why is that? Yeah. Now, one reason maybe is that we never set the height for this tail view, right? We never set the height for this one, even though, okay, now if you know about tail view, even though I said that the tail view estimated row height to be some dummy data here from the storyboard, and I set the tail view.row height to be automatic dimension, meaning that we use the auto layout to have dynamic tail view cell height. But it doesn't know here because the tail view, the collection view cell, the collection view pretty much is a scroll view. And the scroll view, even though it has an intrinsic content size, right, the content size, but the tail view has no idea about that. So we have to tell it explicitly, right? So here we go. Let's have inside the tail view data source extension over here. Let's have another override method called tail view height for row at index path, like this. And again, we have to override that like this. Cool. And then I'm going to check if the index path.row is 3, meaning our collection view row. Then I'm going to return the tail view.bounds.width plus 68, like that. Now, why is it tail view.bounds.width plus 68? Because we know that it is collection view. This collection view is a square, right? And then we plus 68 because the space for this text and then the padding like this. Cool? Alright, now in your case, maybe you want to calculate like, for example, how many cells do you have inside your collection view? And then you plus the 68 or any kind of space that you want to do. Okay? So that is app dependent. So you will implement that in your app. Next thing, else here. Else, meaning that other cells inside this tail view, we will return UITableView automatic dimension again. Okay? So this thing is more specific so that we know that the cells is like that. Cool. Let's run the app once again and see how it looks like. Okay. Let's see it. Let's see if it works. Here we go. Click into one thing and scroll down. Here we go. See that? Now we have the collection view. But notice what happens over here. I can scroll inside the collection view because as I told you, the collection view is a subclass of scroll view, and you can scroll around it even though you are inside tail views like this, right? So we don't want that. We don't want anyone to scroll like this. That is weird. So let's change that. Now inside your tail view will display cell, those kind of things. I'm going to make sure that cell dot, what is that? I think that is scrolling enabled, cell dot collection view dot is scroll enabled to be false, like that, okay? Is scroll enabled to be false. Now let's run the app and see how it looks like. Okay, see it? Scrolling down here, and we cannot score anymore. See that? But now when we cannot score anymore, we can only see these two cells. That's pretty much it, because we want to have a square here, and we'll calculate the height of the table view to be exactly like that, right? Remember? Okay, now our job is that we have to let the collection view know that how to lay out these cells inside the collection view. So it means that, do you want to have a grid of photos? Do you want to have a grid of cells? Or do you want to have like animation in the cells? Or how is the size of the cell? How is the padding or the space between each of the cells and then each of the lines like this, right? So in order to do that, we have to tell the cell.collectionView still inside our will display cell for the table view. Cell.collectionView, okay, .delegate to be our self, and I'm going to move this line of code below the data source after we reload the data. Okay, and then we are going to make sure that we will conform to UICollectionView delegate, because inside our UICollectionView delegate we have a method called what is that? Let me CollectionView delegate, and we want to set the size of that thing, and that method is CollectionView layout, CollectionView layout, like that. So look at what is that thing right here. Oh, but I think I have the wrong method. So that method is CollectionView layout, like that. Transition. Now I want to find the collection view size for item index path. So collection view size for, gosh, is it? Oh, I'm sorry. Gosh, this is your collection view data source, and then we want to do delegate, and then we want to conform to also UI collection view delegate flow layout. Okay, so we have to conform to both delegate and UI collection view delegate flow layout, because if you know, the collection view has a separate object of a subclass of type UI collection view flow layout, flow layout, and that layout object will determine the size and those kind of things, the layout of the collection view. So here is collection view size for item and index path. Here we go. Finally, collection view size for item and index path. And then here I'm going to have let the layout to be the collection view layout, which is this guy that we have inside the method, and we cast it as a UI collection view flow layout. And then we called layout.minimum line spacing to be 5.0. The minimum line spacing, which is our line between two rows, like that. Okay, and then we want to have the layout dot minimum minimum inter item spacing, which is the space between two items inside one line, to be something like 2.5, so that we have 5 points between these cells. Cool. Okay, so this is the line spacing. This is the inter-item spacing. Okay, next thing, let the item width, let's calculate that thing. Let's item width to be the collection view .bounds.width. We minus 5.0, which is our spacing between two guys, like this. So the width of the whole collection view minus this line spacing, or you know what? Let's minus this guy is better, the layout.minimum line spacing, and then we'll divide it by 3, divided by 2 actually. So let's have another let number of items per row to be 2.0, and then we divide it by number of items per row, like that. Okay, and then we return the size for the item, okay, the CG size. So return CG size with the width of item width and the height of item width because we want to have a square item. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's run the app and see how it looks like. Oh, what's that? CG float with a double. I'm sorry for the alarm. CG float, which is this guy. So we want to have this is a CG float and run the app. Here we go. Let's see our app. Click into here and scroll down and moment of truth. Boom. See that? And we have a collection view inside a table view with agreed 4 items in this collection view. Alright guys, I hope that you enjoy this training. If you do, can you do me 2 favors? Number 1, can you subscribe to this channel so that I can continue to deliver free trainings video tutorials for you every single week to help you to build iOS, Android, web development apps every single week here, all for free on this channel. And number 2, what I would love to do for you is I have a free video series, a course called How to Build Social Network Apps. In that course, I teach you how to build Instagram, how to build Nike e-commerce store, how to build Facebook newsfeed, and even more. So all you have to do is go into the link on this page, go there, enter your name and email so that I can happily send you that course free 3 videos training series I have for you. So all you have to do is click there on this page, go there and enter your name and email so I can send you the free training video series. Until then, go out there every single day of your life, learn new things, craft your ideas and contribute to the world. I'll see you next time.